And what you did was you killed your parents and then began to spend their money, right?
Well, that's something that happened, but...
Who knows what happened in totality besides me?
It's mental, it's emotional, it's physical. All these reasons combined together is what prevented me from just walking out of that situation.
When caught, some killers point the finger at strangers. But the defendants we're covering today did something even more shocking. They blamed their own families for their crimes. These are the cases where murderers claimed they were victims first, using family dysfunction as justification for killing. The juries didn't buy it. Case 1, 2023. Our first case involves one of the most disturbing family murders in recent history. Lori Vallow, along with her husband Chad Daybell, was convicted of murdering her 2 children, 7-year-old J.J. Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan, in 2019. But throughout the investigation and trial, Lori blamed everyone except herself.
I know with our interview, you referenced a family tragedy.
Right, absolutely.
But that phrase bothered a lot of people who know what happened in a totality.
Who knows what happened in totality besides me?
Well,
Who was there?
I think everybody who's seen that you've been convicted of
Wrongly
four
convicted.
deaths.
Wrongly convicted, yeah.
Lori and Chad believed they were religious figures in the end times.
Living on the Edge of Heaven, where I tell more about my 2 near-death experiences and how that prompted me to write my novels.
Claiming they could identify zombies. Lori declared her own children were zombies and needed to die. JJ and Tylee disappeared in September 2019. When police asked where her children were, Lori lied, claiming they were with relatives.
I get this phone call out of the blue, and Chad said the Rexburg police are going to call, don't pick up. Lori calls shortly after and says, oh, I told them that JJ was with you. You go ahead and just take a picture of a whole bunch of kids.
She fled to Hawaii with Chad, while authorities searched for her kids. Their bodies were eventually found buried in Chad Daybell's backyard in June 2020. She had referred to her children as zombies. She had celebrated their deaths. She had collected their Social Security benefits after killing them.
She was obsessed about talking about it, to the point where she was planting ideas to show me that she believed he was a zombie. Chad had told her, Tylee, she turned a zombie back when she became a difficult teenager.
The most powerful testimony came from family members who Lori had blamed. Charles Vallow's sister testified about how Lori had threatened Charles before his death. Tylee's father's family spoke about a bright teenage girl who was stolen from them. JJ's grandparents, Larry and Kay Woodcock, gave heartbreaking victim impact statements.
Today, I take the power back by standing here speaking out loud of all the pain and loss she caused. I pray that my words will assist you. My sincerest hope is that they will be seriously contemplated in imposing a sentence for her cruel and heinous crimes.
In May 2023, Lori Vallow was convicted on all counts. 2 counts of first-degree murder, conspiracy, and grand theft. The jury saw through her attempts to blame others. At sentencing in July 2023, the judge gave Lori multiple life sentences without the possibility of parole. He addressed her directly, stating she had shown no remorse and blamed everyone except herself for murdering her own children. Lori Vallow's attempt to blame her brother, her husband, and even her murdered ex-husband failed. She was the mother who killed her children, and she will die in prison.
Case number 2.
Lyle Menendez. My name is Lyle Menendez. I'm at RJ Donovan State Prison in San Diego, California, and I am here for killing my parents. My brother and I were convicted together.
Our second case is one of the most famous in American criminal history. In August 1989, Erik and Lyle Menendez shot and killed their wealthy parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, in their Beverly Hills mansion. The brothers' defense? They claimed years of sexual and emotional abuse made them snap.
When their turn came, Erik and Lyle Menendez told a rapt courtroom that the murder of their parents was an act of self-defense. They said they were in fear of their lives from a controlling father who had been sexually abusing them.
On August 20th, 1989, Lyle, 21, and Erik, 18, used shotguns to kill their parents while they watched television. Jose was shot 6 times, Kitty 10 times, including a final shot to her face as she crawled away wounded. The brothers then went to a movie to establish an alibi. Initially, the brothers weren't suspects. They appeared to be grieving sons, but their behavior raised suspicions. They went on massive spending sprees, buying Rolexes, cars, and businesses with their inheritance.
In Lyle's testimony, do you remember his cross-examination where he gets asked about the Rolex watches?
And what you did was you killed your parents and then began to spend their money, right?
Well, that's something that happened, but...
The brothers were arrested in March 1990. At trial, the defense presented allegations that Jose had sexually abused both sons for years, and Kitty had been emotionally abusive.
Brothers were claiming that we were molested by our father. When we threatened to go public, they threatened to kill us, and so we had to go in and kill them before they killed us.
I thought he was going to kill me that night.
They claimed the brothers killed out of fear for their lives after threatening to expose the abuse. Prosecutors argued this was premeditated murder for money, not self-defense. The brothers had researched how to commit the perfect crime, purchased shotguns days before, and spent their inheritance lavishly immediately after. The first trial ended in hung juries for both brothers in 1994, but in the retrial in 1996, much of the abuse evidence was excluded. In March 1996, both brothers were convicted of first-degree murder. They were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Lyle and Erik Menendez, both guilty of first-degree murder. The jury spent 3 more days deciding between life and death. The verdict here was life, in prison with no parole.
The jury rejected the abuse defense in the retrial, concluding that even if some abuse occurred, the brothers had murdered their parents in cold blood for financial gain, not self-defense. Erik and Lyle Menendez have spent nearly 30 years in prison. Their attempts to blame their dead parents, who couldn't defend themselves against the allegations, ultimately failed. Case number 3. Our final case is complex because the defendant genuinely was a victim before becoming a killer. Gypsy Rose Blanchard conspired with her online boyfriend to murder her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, in June 2015. Gypsy's defense was that her mother had abused her through Munchausen by proxy for years.
It's mental, it's emotional, it's physical. All these reasons combined together is what prevented me from just walking out of that situation.
Give us a sense of the fear that you felt.
I feared more than anything that if I ran away, that things would be worse for me at home.
For years, Dee Dee had convinced everyone that Gypsy had leukemia, muscular dystrophy, brain damage, and numerous other conditions. Gypsy used a wheelchair, feeding tube, and appeared severely disabled. But it was all a lie. Gypsy was healthy, and Dee Dee was making her sick. Desperate to escape, Gypsy met Nicholas Godejohn online. In June 2015, Nicholas traveled to Missouri and stabbed Dee Dee to death while Gypsy hid in the bathroom. They then fled together. When Gypsy was arrested, she was walking, talking normally, and clearly not disabled. The truth came out. Dee Dee had been poisoning and abusing Gypsy for years, forcing unnecessary medical procedures and keeping her prisoner. Prosecutors acknowledged Gypsy was a victim of horrific abuse. However, she had still planned and executed her mother's murder, rather than seeking help from authorities. In July 2016, Gypsy accepted a plea deal and was sentenced to 10 years in prison for second-degree murder. The judge recognized her victimization, but held her accountable for choosing murder over escape. Nicholas Godejohn, who actually stabbed Dee Dee, was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole in 2019. Terrorism was released from prison in December 2023 after serving 8 years. Her case remains controversial. Was she a victim who had no choice, or a killer who chose murder when other options existed? These 3 cases show the complexity of killers blaming family. Lori Vallow's lies about being manipulated, the Menendez brothers' controversial abuse claims, and Gypsy Rose's genuine victimization all used family dysfunction to justify murder. The justice system recognized that even genuine abuse doesn't give someone the right to commit murder. Lori got life, the Menendez brothers got life, and Gypsy got mercy with accountability. Family dysfunction doesn't equal a license to kill. If these cases made you think about the line between victim and perpetrator, smash that subscribe button. Next time, we're covering our final, killers who showed up to court in the most outrageous outfits and disguises. You have to see it to believe it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.